I'm Rick from This Day in Metal, and today I'm interviewing Tomi from Amorphis to discuss the band's second album, Tales from a Thousand Lakes. Obviously, you're going to be revisiting that next month, 30 years to the day, I believe. I think it's the 12th of July, the release date. Obviously, a lot of bands are kind of now so like Paradise Lost and things, are celebrating their 30th anniversary and kind of going for maybe re-recordings and remixes. What was the band's thought process for doing a live version?
We recorded in COVID time, so there's no audience, so it's a little bit strange kind of live, but it was still like live playing, and wanted to have it at least like this because we don't have time to do anniversary shows or anything this year. So
yeah, it was really good because obviously it's recorded at Tavastia.
Tavastia,
and that obviously the band have got that was obviously one of the first places that you played. So was that kind of like a no-brainer for yourselves to want to play there?
Well, yeah, it's important venue for us. Like one thing is like it's legendary club in Helsinki, which like I was first time like 16 years old with fake ideas to watch some bands, and I've seen like first time we played with Amorphis there. I think we were supporting Monster Magnet and back in like early 90s, and that was at some point like our dream, like the goal, like to play in Tavastia, but like after now we have played there like maybe 40 gigs during the years, and it still have the same like original legendary mood and feeling there, so it was quite obvious to have it there.
So was the with the live version, was it obviously more technical this time around? Because obviously when you recorded Tales from a Thousand Lakes back in the 90s, didn't it take you it was like less than a week and a half to kind of record it? You almost did it within a week and a half to record it, and then a couple of days to kind of master it. Did you obviously with the experience and everything you have now, did you take a more technical approach to that and producing it?
Well, of course, nowadays it takes same time to me to record the rhythm guitars, just guitars, because normally the producers are very strict and maybe one song per day or two, and changing strings all the time and things like that. But at that time it was like, we were just playing it and didn't think too much like the vocal arrangements where there wasn't any. It was like same time when the record button was hit, I was like reading the lyrics just like, and growling things, and you can maybe hear it, but it was that time it was like that. And but nowadays I think the songs are not like very technique anyway, so it's those are in our muscle memory, so it's easy to dig it from our heads and just play it. So
I mean, because obviously back then you were kind of exploring like Finnish literature and different sounds like like mini moogs and synthesizers and things like that, and it's something that had not been done greatly back then. So what was your reaction to obviously the fans' reaction to the album when it came out?
Well, we thought it's gonna be risk or something that maybe our fans are gonna hate it or something, but to us it was important because we just started to discover. We were quite young, obviously, but we started to cover like a new kind of music style as well, not just death metal or heavy music, but like 70s progressive rock bands and things like that. So we wanted to have those kind of influences to our music as well. And at that time there wasn't even the keyboard in this metal band. That wasn't like the very normal thing. So, and not to mention to Moogs and the 70s organic synthesizers So and then also the melodies and how we played it, and our producer that time, Thomas Cooksberry in Sunlight, he was telling that this sounds like some Russian disco or something. And,
Yeah.
so of course we had like in mind like, okay, maybe everybody's gonna hate this, but if you're doing it to yourself at first, and then you're like, if you like it, then you can be sure that somebody else can like it as well. So, and we didn't want to stock in like any format too much. So it was important to us to make what we want, and it was received very well at the time. Like it was like our breakthrough album at the time, and after that we started touring overseas and Europe. So yeah, it was good risk.
Yeah, because obviously we're obviously with it being in a kind of live setting, you're able to kind of expand some of the elements that because it's not from the live version, it's not an exact carbon copy of the original. Obviously some of the keyboard parts are more prominent and kind of more expansive on the live version than obviously say the studio album. Was that something kind of when you're in a live setting you can kind of experiment a bit more and maybe add things that maybe at the time you didn't add?
Oh yeah, and of course, when some of the songs we have a set list like 30 years now, so of course, like some natural progression is happening. Like, so we didn't want to like even double check from the album, like if this going this way or this way. It's just natural progression and natural training from the shows that some songs are evolving a little bit, but quite not that much actually. And I think it's easy to play live in that sense as well, because there wasn't any like on the record there wasn't any like chorus or some extra guests that much, or some singer parts, but it was easy. It's just like the basic lineup in an album as well, so it's easy to just play it like it is on live.
Because obviously with the new version, obviously you've kind of with the two kind of tracks at the end, you've gone back to like the early roots, like pre-Amorphis kind of abhorrence. Obviously where some of the maybe version, the bonus editions that have got kind of like The Doors Light My Fire cover. What was it important to kind of to go back to the early days, obviously, because that's such, for you now 30 years on, it's such a landmark album. Was it important to kind of go back a bit earlier to those more aggressive parts?
Well, like when Tales was turning 20 years, like 10 years ago, we did some small European tour, like with a Tales set, but also, of course, it was too short, so we had to take some other songs with as well. So we were playing some of the Karelianismus songs and some of the elegy songs, as well as Abhorrence cover, Vulgar Necrolatry. So I think it came from there, and Vulgar Necrolatry is also like very important song in that way, because that's the was at first place how we got the record deal, because Relapse wanted to sign Abhorrence, but it was already up. So in that way, I think it was good, and also the contrast is good. I think it's nice to play that song because it's very different than Amorphis is sounding nowadays.
Yeah, I mean,
and
then obviously you've got the kind of the different vocal side of it as well now, haven't you? Obviously, with the vocalist doing kind of effectively, the growls and the clean stuff kind of adds another dynamic to an album that kind of fans have had for 30 years. Even having a live version with the with those changes, does change the dynamic of it slightly.
Oh yeah, and Tomi's singing style is so energetic, so it makes the songs more energetic as well. Because my rolling style was more like whispering comparing to Tomi's. So I think it's good to have it because we still have the same 4 guys in a band right now, but with a new keyboard player and plus the new vocalist. So I think it's like kind of mix of what we are today, but still being like not like trying to do it differently. It's still like very
I mean, it's
like tone arrange it's there already. So
I mean, it's still very true to the original, obviously, because of I've been fortunate enough to see the live footage also, and obviously the color scheme and everything stays true to the legend and the concept of the original album.
Oh yeah, I think so too. And most of the songs we have played like there and there to 30 years, but of course few songs are like we haven't played at all, except these special shows. So it was nice to bring them back as well.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much for your time and agreeing to talk to us today about that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No worries. Take care.